Hey guys, it's Annabelle. So I do have time to do yet another video, and I just wanted to touch on the basics of my birth plan. I have a whole birth plan that I have discussed with my doctor and with my hospital team for baby number 3, and I am so excited. I think I touched on it in my 35 and 36 week video about how my hospital has changed just since I had my daughter. My daughter will be 4 in January, and so it was about 4 years ago that I was talking to the hospital about things that I wanted for my birth. I was doing lots of research and everything on what I wanted, how I wanted things to go, just with epidurals, medications, how baby was handled, pacifiers, all of that kind of stuff. And when I was talking to them when I was getting ready to give birth to my daughter, I faced a lot of like weird looks and a lot of, where did you read that at? And a lot of like, oh, you're one of those people. Or like just the weird like things, like when people like hear something new or like have no idea what you're talking about and they just think you're crazy. This time around with baby number 3, everything has gone a lot better. When I like bring something up or say something, they're like, yes, all right. Like they've all heard of this before. And that's just in a 4-year gap. Like it's amazing how different things are. So anyways, I'm just going to touch on just like the basics. I've like gone in depth with my doctor and my main nurse and all of that kind of stuff as to what I want. Now, if I could potentially have whatever I wanted, now this is just like hypothetical right now. In the beginning, I wanted to do a home water birth. That would probably be my main wish or my main goal of what I would do. Now, there are some things that make that not possible. First of all, the closest midwife that I actually would like is 180 miles away. And that is not, like, it doesn't work for me, like, personally. Like, that's, like, a really long ways away. If something would happen quickly, I would end up in the hospital anyways. I'm comfortable with my doctor. I just would think that like the most natural thing for my birth plan would be to have my baby at home. Water birth would be awesome. So since that is not possible, or like the conditions make it kind of eerie for me, and my husband is completely 100% dead against having a baby at our house, just with everything that could go wrong and all of that stuff. And granted, like he is not into the whole like thing as much as I am, and he's like by no means against people who do it or anything like that. He just wouldn't want our family to do it. Anyways, so since that situation is not going to happen, my next thing that would be most preferable for me would be to have a water birth in my hospital. Now, if you have been following me for a long time, you know that with my son, I was trying to push for our hospital to be able to do water births. And it was not passed, and it did not go farther than one committee meeting, I think, for my son. Now, they have been discussing it and trying to see how they could do it since then. However, I just had my son 19 months ago, and not a lot of progress has been made on that like front where my hospital is concerned. So that again is not an option for me this time. So with all of the not possible things like gone out the window, this is what my birth plan will actually be for baby number 3. So my plan is for my blood pressure to be good, because I would prefer to go into labor naturally and not have to be induced. However, with my daughter and with my son, my blood pressure went up the last couple to a few weeks before my due date. So I did need to be induced with both of them. Now, I still have my fingers crossed that my blood pressure will be good this time around. So my plan with that, is not to be induced. I would prefer not to be induced. Obviously, if my blood pressure goes up, I will have to be induced. But that would be my best case scenario, that baby number 3 comes when baby number 3 is ready to come. Okay, so if my blood pressure does go up and I do have to be induced, then that is what will happen, and we will just go with the flow. So I do have just some main points. They know from like my past and what's in my file, and like they have my past birth plans for my daughter and my son that I went over and pulled things from for baby number 3. And so it's been a kind of a collaboration between my daughter, my son's, and baby number 3's birth plan is what has come for this birth plan, if that makes sense. So I went to labor at home as long as possible. Again, this is if I'm not induced. And then I would like to go to the hospital and not be like pressured or anything on any like major decisions. I already went in and did all of my paperwork and everything, and if I am in like active labor, I don't want to be harassed by nurses and doctors and all of that. I just don't want that to happen. That happened a little bit with my daughter, and I am the type of person where if like I am trying to internally like handle something and somebody is like talking at me, first of all, I can't understand what you're saying, and I just don't want that. So that is my only like atmosphere like kind of thing that I have in my birth plan, because everyone is usually very cool, calm, and collected. I need people to leave me alone like during contractions and things like that. So that's very simple. Like I obviously put way too many words to it, but just leave me alone when I am having contractions and like getting towards the end stages of labor. I did request this time that my nursing staff does not have fingernails. The last time I had a nurse that had fingernails, and when she checked me, it was very painful. That was almost as painful as one of my contractions in the beginning. And I put that in there because that was one of the just random things that happened with my son that I wanted fixed for this time. Okay, so just everything is that my husband is involved in everything that we are talking about doing. My husband is able to be there for everything. My stipulations on a epidural is that I am not asked repeatedly over and over and over again if I want an epidural or it's time to get an epidural or something, that I will be the one to request it. I don't want to be offered it, nothing like that. I do want to be offered alternatives to epidurals and things like that, like I was with my son. They did awesome with my son, not so good with my daughter. But with my past 2 situations, my daughter, I got my epidural way too early where it wore off, where I felt everything for the last hour of my labor and delivery. And for my son, I got it too late where my legs and everything were still numb for a few hours after I had had him. So this time, my mental plan is to, if I'm going to get an epidural, that it is at a good time, that it's not too early and not too late. With my daughter, it was just a mix of things. I did not know anything what was going on or anything like that, and moving around and all of the stuff that they were having me do just kind of just got me. I was mentally, emotionally, and physically exhausted and needed a break. With my son, it was different. I was prepared for all of that, but I was not prepared for the amount of back pain. and it was not ending in between contractions. The back pain was so severe, and it got to me. This time, I've learned something from both of my birth experiences, where this time I do know more now. And I have tools now that I can use for different things. So we will see. I am by no means against epidurals. I am by no means against natural births. I am like nowhere on any side whatsoever. It's just, everything happens how it happens, and I think everyone's story is different. How you handle things is different, and everyone's choices are their own, and nobody should pick on anybody else for their birth plans or anything like that. Anyways, we are going to do like the delayed like cord cutting and all of that kind of stuff. And I want baby like on me as soon as possible after birth. My daughter was directly put it on my chest. My son, they were trying to get him to cry and stuff for a little bit, but after he kind of made a few noises and they made sure that he was okay, then he was placed on my chest. But I want to be the first person to hold my baby besides my doctor. Again, if all goes well, and my husband is to stay with baby if anything is happening, going on, all that stuff. And yeah, that is like the major points that I wanted to hit for like labor and delivery. After baby is born, I have a whole set of like things that I just would prefer, that I give them a prefer list. So if we have a boy, I prefer that he is not circumcised. I prefer that my baby is not given a pacifier to establish for nursing and things like that. I want baby with me as much as possible in the middle of the night. If they need him or her for something or need him for tests or whatever, they can take baby for that, but they bring baby right back to me. Like, there's no passing baby around the nurse's station, like just things like that. That I have in my preferences like section that I like gave them. Okay, so that is like the major points, but if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Otherwise, I will have more videos for you here. I am running out of time now, so I don't think there'll be another video for you guys today. But anyways, if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below, and I will answer them as quickly as possible. So stay tuned for more videos, and I will let y'all know when baby number 3 is here, so you can meet him or her. All right, bye guys.